On today's expose, we wanted to highlight Moira MacTaggart. So she first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 96 in December of 1975, created by Chris Claremont and artist Dave Cockrum. And for the longest time, Moira was just a regular human. She was Professor X's past paramour, if you will, and she stayed friends with him, helping the X-Men. But then in 2019, in House of X, it was revealed that Moira is a mutant. Kevin? So Moira, when she dies, she reincarnates back to when she was first being born as a baby, but she has all the memories of any past lives she's had. So it gets really crazy and confusing because basically she has lived all these lives, so now she's on this mission to find what is the best timeline for mutants. So she's had all these crazy lives where she's been a horseman of the apocalypse, or she's joined Magneto, or she's done this, and she's basically checking off a list. Nope, that didn't work. Nope, that didn't work.
It's very much like reincarnation. Just try again.
Exactly. But she's told by Destiny, Mystique's wife, that she can't go on like this forever. She does have a stopping point. Probably around the 10th or 11th life, she'll probably die and not keep reincarnating. And the way that would happen is if she doesn't reach roughly about age 13 when she hits puberty, then if she dies before then, she can't come back because she has manifested her mutant power.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah. And now, I don't know, part of me is kind of it's so cool. Part of me is you're kind of disrespecting the character of Moira. Because now she's basically, she hates the X-Men. She's become a half human, half sentinel, bent on destroying the X-Men. So I'm kind of
oh, weird.
It's a little weird.
How bizarro.
Yeah. But we have seen her in live action in X-Men The Last Stand. She was portrayed by Olivia Williams. And in X-Men First Class and X-Men Apocalypse, she was portrayed by Rose Byrne. I love Rose Byrne. She's such a good actress.
She's so good. Everything she's in, I'm you make me cry.
I know. And she's so good at being a dumb bitch in Bridesmaids, but then she's so good at being a loyal mother in Insidious, and she's so good at being a smart professor as Moira MacTaggart. I'm girl, you can do anything.
It's amazing.
I go where I wanna go. Jean.
Scott.
Jean?
Scott! I summon the Arctic winds!
No more mutants!
I summon the Arctic winds!
No more mutants!
I summon the Arctic winds!
No more mutants! There's always more gators in the bayou.
Don't get a boomer!
Welcome to this week's Solving for X. We're here to continue on our Proteus journey. My name is Sean. I am your ultimate excavationist.
And I'm something of an X fan myself, Kevin.
Cool. So let's get to business first. We have some poll results, girl. So our question last week was, is Proteus more dangerous if he is Xavier and Moira's son? How do you think this went?
Probably yes, just because it's Xavier.
Yeah, we had 88% yes and 12% no. So the listeners agree, the Sexy X's agree that, yeah, he is more dangerous because Professor X is so freaking powerful.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! All right, shall we get into Proteus Part 2? Kevin?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so this aired a week after Part 1, October 6, 1995. Written by Luann Crocker, directed by Larry Houston. All right. Wolverine continues to cry after what Proteus did to him. Rogue and Beast come to his aid, but Wolvie doesn't want to talk about it. Xavier comforts Moira a short distance away. Xavier and Beast decide to take the team and go find Joe and offer their help.
Okay. Meanwhile, it is nighttime in Edinburgh. Joe MacTaggart's campaigning team is getting a party together for his Secretary of State run. Unbeknownst to the preppers, Kevin shows up a little ways away. He sees a picture of Joe with his new fam, and it angers him more. Kevin finds a new meat puppet to house him.
I like calling them meat puppets.
Yeah, but yeah.
What?
I think I'll wait till the scene after when he gets to the house. But
Okay. Just a street away, the X-Men and Moira have arrived. They're on the lookout for Kevin. Wolverine goes into full PTSD mode when he smells Kevin and points him out. Knowing the jig is up, Kevin makes a run for it. The X-Men chase him to a small park. Kevin releases his meat sack and tells Moira he just wants to see Joe. I just want to see him die. Rogue tries to reason with Kevin, but it sets him off more. He makes green water and wrecks the park. Kevin leaves and everything goes back to the way it was. I thought that was cool. Like the bell goes back into place and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I did notice Professor X refers to Kevin as Proteus. He's like, Proteus, come back. But I'm like, I don't think anybody has called him Proteus at this point. Yeah.
Maybe he named him.
There you go.
Like, I'm already imagining you on the X-Men team, and so I'm giving you an X-Men name.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Save the whales, Maeve. Save the whales.
Save the whales.
All right. With Kevin gone, Moira spills the tea as to why she's so afraid. Joe left her because he didn't want a mutant child. She's afraid of what Kevin will do when he finds out. Xavier assures her that they will find a way to help him.
So, from a story element, I like this reveal, but also I'm like, you wouldn't be able to tell he's a mutant until teenage years.
Like a year ago.
Yeah. But like, it does up the ante. I like this whole kind of exciting idea that he's going to find that his dad doesn't accept him, and that's going to set him off even more. So that's pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Wait until you see how the comic ended. It gets dark, girl. It gets real fucking dark. Meanwhile, Kevin gets the jump on a policeman as above the streets, the X-Men are talking to Joe in his office. Xavier pleads with Joe to just speak with your son. Good God, just talk to him. That's all he wants. Joe refuses. He doesn't want his divorce or mutant child to come out. Joe tells the X-Men to bounce. He has his own protection. Two burly men. No, look at these men.
Oh, I thought one of these was a cameo, but it might be just me. Wasn't that? I thought that one was Luke Cage. He's dressed like Luke Cage.
Oh, he does look like Luke Cage.
But he looks black in this scene, but then looks white later on. So I was like, oh, I don't know. It's real.
Yeah. I don't think it was, but he does look a lot like him. So that's a really good call out.
Like stole his outfit or something.
Yeah.
All right. 6. Meanwhile, at the MacTaggart estate, Kevin has come a-knockin'. He disappears the doors and creepily looks at Joe's new family. And this where I was like, fake-ass trophy family. This bitch blonde lady. All these random children. Like, he's just trying to, like, show off. Like, it's almost like he, like, rented this family. But okay.
Let's just say her name is probably Melania.
Yeah, exactly. Just throwing it out there. I'm Melania, y'all. Whatever. Kevin continues sneaking through the house to find Joe when he sees a poster that says he'll be at Union Hall. He leaves the estate to go there.
So here's another little random story element I question, is that he doesn't really know for sure Joe's his dad. He's just going off of the fact that his last name is MacTaggart.
Right. I feel like that's very common in where they come from, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, it could have been anyone. It could have been his uncle even, or it's just someone who's not even related to him. But, well, we'll go with it.
That's my daddy. I know it.
That's my daddy. Just like, what? Who are you? I didn't sleep with a Jello mold. Back at Joe's office, Rogue spies on Joe talking smack about Kevin. Kevin! As Joe leaves, she follows him to his Campagan speech. Beast is already there, all inconspicuous in his hat and his coat. Nobody's going to know I'm a mutant like this. Xavier and Moira are in the backstage area playing recon while Logan searches the sewers. Everyone's worried about Logan because, you know, he's still going through his mental thing. He doesn't want to talk about it. Kevin gets the jump on a bodyguard and possesses him. Was it the Luke Cage-looking bodyguard he gets? Or is it the other one?
And that's when he possesses, yeah.
Okay.
This is when Rogue says a line, too. That means she's like, I need a shower after babysitting this slime.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, cute.
Cute. I also noticed whatever book it was that Beast was reading, the symbol on the book was blurred out.
Yeah, I was so confused by that. So weird.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm gonna have to research and see if I can find anything.
Like, was it blurred originally, or is it only blurred on Disney Plus?
Yeah, because there's stuff that could have changed between this airing and now as to why they would blur it, but I'm just wondering what it could be. Right,
because I wrote that down too. I'm like, that's very interestingly weird.
Oh wait, here it is. Okay, let's see. I think I just found it on Reddit. Oh, okay. So it's a real book, and that creates a hassle for usage rights. It's possible the author or publisher contacted Marvel Animation and asked for it to be removed or to be compensated.
Gotcha. So they didn't want to pay him. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, so it said the book was called The Making of the President by Theodore H. White about JFK.
Oh. That's a book that Peace would read.
Yeah.
Well, now we know. See?
Yeah.
Now people who listen to this will know for sure.
Oh, and look, they show the original image here.
Let me see.
Somebody grabbed it
off
of the original
air. Look at that.
So the original
like
image,
kind of
it's funny that it's even
thing.
blurred. Yeah, it's like a weird like bird or crown or something. But yeah, I guess it is based on a real book cover, so that's why they had to do it.
Yeah.
Podcasting. Okay. We got the answers.
Joe begins his speech and talks about his children. The children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. It triggers a memory in Rogue of her dad not wanting her once he's found out she's a mutant. Daddy, please! I'm a schlub. Look at my gut hanging out of my shirt. As Rogue has her flashback, Beast doesn't notice as bodyguard Proteus walks by him, but Xavier senses Kevin is there. He reveals himself to Joe on stage. The X-Men instantly jump in to help. Wolverine is called on to help, but he remembers being torn apart and runs screaming. Proteus easily dispatches the other X-Men as Xavier tries to get through to him.
So yeah, I feel like Wolverine running and screaming kind of took away from his trauma a little bit. It starts to make it into almost kind of a joke.
The joke. And he's done this multiple times. Running into the woods. Ah!
When Morph turned into Jean.
Yeah. I think this is like the third or fourth time he's done something like this. I'm like, okay, I can't!
Wow,
pushes the man with a cane, you know, like, yeah. That's not later. That's somebody else. But still.
All right. Proteus turns the world into water and bats to keep the X-Men busy. Next, he opens a hellhole in the ground to throw Xavier into. Wolverine and Moira save Xavier. It almost like, with the animation, it looked like Moira had stretchy arms almost when she grabbed him.
Oh, yeah.
Charles once more connects with Kevin's mind. He is able to calm Kevin momentarily. Kevin tells Charles the only thing he wants is his father. He tells him to bring him Joe, and he bounces. Moira tells Charles that he tried valiantly, but it's time she did something. Moira leaves. There was a quick moment here. I don't know if you noticed when Xavier is suspended over the pit by, I think it was when Wolverine's claws were in his jacket.
Yeah.
And they forgot to color his skin. So I looked, I was like, who's the gray pale guy? And it was Xavier.
Wow. Okay. As the X-Men leave, Rogue gets mad at Wolverine for not helping them. Beast comes to Wolverine's defense, but it only serves to anger Wolverine. Xavier breaks them up and tells them he's afraid Moira may be planning to kill Kevin, and they can't let that happen. And this where Wolverine calls Rogue something really weird? Like, it says corn pone. Like, what the heck is a corn pone?
Does he? I didn't notice that.
He says corn pone. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I should Google that phrase. Corn pone. Is that like the thing that you put like in a corn on the cob?
Maybe. That sounds right.
Oh,
but like, why would you call someone that?
I have it. Corn pone is a variation on cornbread with a thick and soft dough made from just cornmeal, water, and salt. And it's shaped to individual patties. Okay. Well, now I learned something new.
I know.
All the discoveries
We're
this
learning all kinds of
episode.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're almost like investigators now. I'm tingly.
We are. I know. Look at us. And we didn't. It's like you'd think somebody would do this beforehand, but no, we do it real time for all the listeners, so we know that we're real.
I definitely wasn't scrambling to get this episode ready like moments before we started recording.
Right.
Later that night, people gather for Joe MacTaggart's speech. Kevin silently approaches from above. As Joe talks about his children, it sets Kevin off. He announces he's there and makes his appearance. Wolverine runs away in fear. Rogue, Beast, and Xavier move to confront Kevin. Xavier calls them back, though, to give Kevin a chance to talk to Joe. As Kevin tries to talk, Joe runs in fear, making Kevin mad. He starts attacking.
Oh.
What did you think of this battle, like with these dynamics, reality bending dynamics going on again?
It was crazy. I mean, it was definitely like exciting. Like, I'm just like, what's gonna happen next? It was very visually neat, and like the display of powers is super cool. And I'm just kept thinking, I'm like, think of the things that Wyatt could do if they had let him. Like, he could go crazy mad like this too. So
that's true. Do you think there's any like? Do you think when they created Wyatt, they pulled from Proteus at all? Do you think there's any connection?
Probably not, but it's cool to see the players. I know.
Yeah.
Rogue and Beast do their best to control the situation. Wolverine comes back and pleads to Kevin to stop. In comes Banshee and Moira with a laser that should stop Kevin. That was a fun sentence. Okay.
It was.
Xavier tells them no, it will hurt him. He tells Kevin to inhabit his body so he can help. Ooh. Kevin powers down and takes over Charles's body. In the astral plane, Xavier is able to get through to Kevin. Kevin is able to take his human form. Moira and Joe come to comfort their son. Kevin gets a moment with Joe.
Oh.
Is it really though?
So I'm wondering, okay, I won't ruin this scene yet since we only have one scene left, and then I'll talk about how the comic book went. So later at the research facility, Moira and the X-Men watch as Kevin makes progress with his powers. Outside, Wolverine and Rogue reflect on their adventure. Wolverine seems mad at himself for being affected so much by Kevin. All right. Are you ready
Okay.
for it?
Wait, I have some stuff to say before we get there.
Okay.
Because I forgot to mention them. Earlier during the battle, when Joe was like, stay away from me. I don't like you at all. It's like, you're not my son. I don't know you. And then all of a sudden, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. There you are, my son. Like, bitch. And so I imagined his like, for me in my brain, it's like, let's hug for the cameras because everyone knows you're my son now, and then let me take you back out so I can give you an execution. That's what I thought it was like.
That's so dark.
But in my brain, that's how he is. He's DeSantis. So I was like, mm-mm. And did you notice Xavier's bad stage acting?
No.
He was so presentational and demonstrative. He's like, I know what we have to do. Everybody, let me throw my arms out and I can teach you how we must save the day. I was like, Xavier, you're a little extra over here.
A little much, Xavier. That's funny.
So, yeah, just things I noticed.
So the way this wraps up in the comic, it reveals that Moira is very much into her Second Amendment rights, because at one point she confronts Joe, and because he's like so unwilling to meet Kevin, she pulls a gun on him, and she's basically like, I should have done to you what I wanted to do to you all those years ago. Like, she threatens to basically kill Joe for not wanting to meet up with Kevin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then instead of getting like this laser that's supposed to like help kind of calm Kevin, she gets a sniper rifle and she points it at Kevin's head in the distance and she pulls the trigger, but Scott, your lovely Cyclops, is able to deflect. Like he pushes the gun
the
up
bullet?
so it shoots into the air, not at Kevin. So she was ready to not only kill her son, but do it with a sniper rifle, like actually zoom in on his head as it's exploding. So I thought that was
She's psycho.
whoa.
She's a crazy bitch.
I know, like reading back through, because I skimmed through them this morning getting ready for this. I was like, it kind of makes sense that she's this dark mutant now, because she was kind of dark in these original comics.
Yeah. Wow.
So I thought it was fun mentioning that one of the people that Kevin actually possessed was one of the clones of Multiple Man. That's why I brought him up last week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Multiple Man is kind of the way that they know how people feel, because Multiple Man feels what his clones go through. So he felt it when
the
his
memories
clone died.
Yeah. And that's just like Prue when her clone got stabbed and which proves it anyway. She's like, the pain.
The pain.
All the charmed parallels. Oh.
Yeah. So one of the things too that happened in the earlier part, I just don't want to bring it up yet, is when Proteus tries to inhabit Wolverine's body, he can't. Would you like to know why?
Does it have to do with the healing factor?
No, but you're on the right track. It has to do with the adamantium, because the Kevin in the comics is repelled by metal since it's not a natural source. So that's kind of the key to what goes down in the comics as opposed to the show.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the way it kind of goes down is Kevin actually does possess his own father, Joe, in the final battle with the X-Men. So you can imagine right away, if he's possessing Joe, best case scenario is when he leaves Joe's body, he's going to leave Joe as a crumpled mess and dead. So it's already not going to go well for the comics.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is Colossus takes on his metal form and he thrusts himself into Kevin's energy, and it causes Kevin to like
disperse.
Disperse. So, I mean, he is still alive later on in the comics, but this was like their temporary way of kind of defeating him. So it does not have this happy ending with like, oh, Kevin, my son, there you are. Let's go walk off into the distance. Everybody dies instead.
Yeah.
So, but I've always loved the storyline too. So, in case anybody's not aware, Ultimate X-Men came out in the early 2000s. And this was the one where they restarted the whole continuity and kind of retold the story of the X-Men, but they kind of condensed the stories into new stories. So in Ultimate X-Men World Tour, comics 16 through 19, this is where they actually fought Proteus. And it kind of took on a life of its own and was very different. One of the key things is Proteus's name is not Kevin, it's David. Do you know why that's significant?
No.
Because in the Earth 616 in the comics, Professor X's son is David Haller, who is
that's right.
Legion.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in the Ultimate X-Men, they took David Haller and they took Kevin and they put them together into David Xavier, who is Charles and Moira's son.
So did they just kind of combine the characters into one character, or are they literally those two characters put together?
They combine them into one just to simplify it.
Okay, so
That's a lot.
For narrative sense.
Yeah. Ultimate X-Men was known to condense like all these years of, like 40 years of stories, condense it into easier to understand kind of stories. So that's how they made it easier.
But could you imagine if they took each of those characters and literally combined them into one character, and they just disappeared? They're fusion,
Oh, they'd be
that would have
insane.
been so complicated. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that power would look like. Because Legion's power is to create different personas in his mind and take on whoever's power he is at that moment. So being able to manifest that, he would be like a one-man mutant army. He would be invincible.
Yeah.
Whew, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I really liked David Xavier as a character is because if you think about this, David Xavier is being hidden away by Moira. So to know that your dad is Charles Xavier, who's this man who's trying to help mutants, and he's trying to help all the mutants except for you, can you imagine how much anger you're going to have towards your father?
Right.
So it was a much deeper, much darker kind of storyline having it done that way.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that really stuck with me in this World Tour comic is it was darker in the sense that we got a character introduced. Miss Betsy Braddock showed up for the first time in Ultimate X-Men here. And she was an agent of Strike. So she was sent in to help the X-Men stop Proteus. And what was really cool about it is there's this whole part where like she's helping the team, she's doing stuff with them. And then suddenly it shows Xavier and Betsy sitting on a bench, and he's like, how long has it been since you took over her body? So Proteus was hiding in Betsy. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So basically, like, Proteus morphs Betsy's body, like, just, it's fucked how much he like, makes spikes come out of her head. He, like, turns her into, like, male form. Like, he just goes to town with her body. And so the way the X-Men destroy her is they take a car and crush Betsy's body, thus killing Betsy as well.
Jeez.
But what I love about this, if you know your X-Men lore, after Betsy dies in the Ultimate version, she wakes up in the body of a younger Asian teenager.
I wonder if this is a parallel to Charmed.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, this was the way that Ultimate did it, and that's how they made this be Xavier's actual son, which I think works very well on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Wow. So we got through all of Proteus. So I guess that brings us to, what did you think of this episode, Kevin?
Well, Sean, let me tell you.
Kevin!
I extremed it. Yeah, I thought it came together really well. It really continued what was established last episode and give it a full growth and conclusion. So, yeah. And yeah, I'm going to extreme it.
Yeah, I streamed it as well. Even though I said expected last week, I think this is such an action-filled, heartwarming, just deep kind of story for kids. Like, we're dealing with somebody who we said a teenager who doesn't fit in, who's a danger to themselves and others. We're dealing with this teenager not being accepted by their dad. We're dealing with, like, you know, you just need to talk to your parents, talk to your kids, and see what they're feeling to know how to live in their shoes. So this was some heavy stuff for a kid's show.
Yeah.
Who's your MXP?
I put Xavier this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was on it. Without him, Kevin would have not been able to settle down. He would have just been on a rampage for who knows how long, and how many people he would have killed by taking over the body, apparently. So yeah, I think Xavier was actually understanding and able to calm him pretty well.
Yeah, and I like Xavier almost becomes annoying in this episode in that he just keeps being like, we need to try again. And Moira's kind of like, you already tried. You've already been trying. But it goes to show that, like, his perseverance is what saves the day. Like, he's the one who finally gets through to Kevin. So, yeah, I couldn't give this to anyone else but Xavier.
Yeah.
So, did you notice King?
No, he's not in this.
No, he's not in this. What would you say is the X Factor?
I put that I kind of liked that every member of the X-Men had kind of like a personal experience in this episode. So based off the situation, either they have a memory or that they can relate to Kevin on, or they have a trauma based on what Kevin did to them. And I think that's really kind of informed how they reacted and how they responded to the situation. And that's just kind of cool. And that's really nuanced. And that's something that X-Men is really good at.
Yeah. The Rogue one did seem a little random, but you're right. It does build her character that we get to see firsthand what's really in it for her and saving Kevin, because she
and we we see her really sympathize with him, and that's why she kind of butts heads with Wolverine a lot in this. She's like, I totally understand where he's coming from. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. For me, I really like yours. I kind of low-key want to steal it, but I'm going with my original. I think the X Factor is Professor X. Like, just seeing the way he won't give up on mutants and seeing the way that he is able to save mutants through his love and care for them. I know in the comics, like, he's kind of a little more shady. He's not as clean-cut as we get in the show. But it does capture that element of his character that he really is dedicated to his cause, even with someone so dangerous as Proteus.
Yeah, beautiful.
So for Previously On, do you agree with Moira for hiding her son away to protect him? What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's such a tricky one. I mean, I just want to know the history. Like, did she have conversations with him about his powers beforehand, or did they just suddenly abruptly? She's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta contain you." If there was ways to talk about it and maybe minimize the damage and make him more comfortable earlier on, I think that would have been the best route to go. And then maybe he could have been, put into society even more. But the way that it played out, it seemed like she just kind of like freaked out and just trapped him and then talked to him from behind a glass the whole time. And that would be wrong. To me, if that's what happened, that's wrong. So
Yeah, and that is kind of how it plays out in the comics, that he's kind of kept a prisoner. So I'm assuming that's what they're alluding to in the show. And yeah, I agree. It's wrong. It's very Bubble Boy in that she was afraid to let her son go out into the world, so she hid him. And really, you're not getting the experiences that build your brain up, build your social skills. He goes out into the world and he has no idea what any of these people are or what they're doing because he's never been exposed to it before. So this is a very scary idea for me. I wish Moira took the time to explain to him who his father was and that his father didn't want him in order to help him deal with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy to think because maybe he doesn't know the values of people, and I feel like because if you're going around killing people by possessing them, that you clearly have no concern. So
yeah.
it's something.
Well, and I think it brings up a good point that if you have no value of people or who they are, it's kind of what we're running into right now with our political system. Like a lot of people who are demonizing the LGBTQI community are doing so because they don't know anybody in the community. So they're able to say whatever they want about us and demonize us because we're not real people to them. Whereas I've met people who, when they meet me, they're like, I've never met a gay before, but you're just a normal person like the rest of us. I'm like, yeah, girl, it's true.
What do you think we do? It's so crazy. But it's pretty much Republicans distract by focusing on minorities because if they are a bully, it distracts from their ineptitude or they really don't know what to do and trying to keep their power going. And it's so stupid. I hate them. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah. And I'd argue not just Republicans. I'd argue all politicians are always very good about pointing over there. Look over there.
Exactly.
We do this over here.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we're not here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about X-Men.
Which is kind of the same thing, but Yeah.
It kind of is. So I'm excited because this next episode is very timely. I kind of wish we got to it a week or two earlier, but it's called Family Ties. What do you think is going on here?
Well, I saw a picture of it next to the one I just clicked on earlier. So I saw a picture of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So I'm guessing it's going to do with Magneto's children.
And maybe actually, I don't remember exactly how it plays out, but I think we get a little high evolutionary action going on here, which we just got him in Guardians 3. So
we did.
That's why it's so timely.
Wow.
Yeah. But you're right. We do get kind of a past look at the lives of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, which in looking at the show is kind of random because they haven't really been in it much. And then they get this whole episode. So
I was like, I did not expect to see them in the cover of the next episode, but sure.
Yeah, but it'll be good. It's a good episode and we'll have a lot to talk about because Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch started in X-Men and they have this weird kind of history where we'll get into it more next week, but Marvel and Fox were kind of getting in fights because they're like, no, they're X-Men characters. And Marvel's like, no, they're Avengers characters. So they were kind of arguing over who gets to use them because they don't really fit in either because they're so much part of both. Cool. So we will get to Family Ties next week. But until then, where can people find you?
Yeah. You can follow my Instagram, KGZ87. That's there. And you can follow the podcast, Words of the Witches, where Sean and I are covering the Charmed Season 10 comic books. This week is Willow the Witch, which is super exciting. It's a fun little Phoebe one-off that's pretty good. So
nice. I'm excited. Cool. And I no longer have to talk about Once Upon a Cult because it's over, but I just did. You should listen to our last episode last week, or you can listen to me on Marvelous Galaxy of Disney with our Star Wars, Disney, Marvel news every week. What a fun time there.
Fun times.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week for Family Ties with High Evolutionary.
Ooh, my family.
Oh, my family.